Good morning, everybody. It's your boy D Mac. What's up, man? Let me give a shout out to Self Awareness TV, Reverend Tony, always bringing it in and always keeping us informed of what's going on out here in the world. Shout out, excuse me. Shout out to Dr. Walls, um, brother, always bringing knowledge and peace and wisdom to the people. Um, your crazy cousin, Queen TV. Um, let's see who else. Fawn from Harlem. Yeah. It's a whole lot of people out here who are free thinkers, who are not afraid of thinking outside of the box, and I just salute everybody. Um, what I want to come in and talk about this morning, I'm coming in hot, and I'm talking about the hip hop industry. We've had so many conversations about the hip hop industry and the bridging the gap between the old school and the new school, and we had all of these very interesting, very innovative, and very productive conversations concerning hip hop. I want to talk about something though concerning hip hop, which is something that I love. I've stated this before that I love music. Music is me. I am music, period. Not just hip hop. I am music, period. Good music is good music, no matter what genre it comes from. I love good music, period. I am music. Now that that's been said, we're going to talk about the hip hop genre in specifics because the hip hop genre seems to be the only genre that has this Neverland complex. Now, if you know what Neverland is, that's where Peter Pan and the Lost Boys resided. They never wanted to grow up. They always wanted to remain children and youthful, and that is what Neverland represented. It represented the fountain of youth. You can find a place where you can go and you could be a child for the entirety of your life, and you don't have any accountability and responsibility, and you just go through life haphazardly and with no caution or nothing like that. So that's what Neverland represents. And this is what the hip hop genre, the rap genre, is parallel to. This is exactly what they're trying to create within the hip hop genre, because once you hit about 25, maybe 30, you start to become less influential in the rap genre, and that's the only genre that this type of behavior is prevalent in. You look at all the other genres of music and you will see absolutely 100% that they have a standard in those other genres, and those other genres are dominated and ran by adults. Hip hop is the only genre that's ran by children. Children have the say over everything. Children's behavior is what's promoted all throughout hip hop. That whole Neverland concept and mindset is what they push only in hip hop. And so that's why you don't have any control of anything. Salute to you, Sacred Grove. Blessings for being in here this morning. Yo, absolutely no standards and no principles at all. They trying to turn hip hop genre into Neverland. And see, when you say that Neverland phrase, people always try to associate that with Michael Jackson's Neverland Ranch. We're not talking about that. We're not talking about none of that sexual stuff. That's for another conversation. What we're talking about is how they take hip hop and how they take away any sense of responsibility. They take away any sense of accountability. It's a child's game. Once you hit 30, or you old head, you're no longer relevant. You look at artists, the lyrical juggernauts from our time, because hip hop ain't that old to where our OGs, the ones who are the founders and pioneers of this, are still alive. They don't get the just due respect that they deserve. only to their face, but the industry itself, the genre itself, does not put our OGs at a high standard like they should be, and they do not respect the OGs like they should. That whole never land concept, that whole mindset of all the OGs are more or less like Captain Hook coming in to destroy the world that they've created for themselves because they're jealous of the accountability and stuff like. Nah, that's not the case. But this is what the world would have you to believe, because when you're in the state of adolescence, and adolescence is the stage in your life where you're transitioning from a young child, from a teenage child into adulthood. There's a whole lot that's going on during this period of your life, and there's a lot of influence that's taken in because of that unsurety, and you're trying to find your identity, and that is a perfect time for somebody to interject what they feel you should become. That is the perfect time for people to come and whisper in your ear and try to shape you and mold you throughout the duration of the rest of your life. And so in hip hop, this is the only genre. I'm gonna keep on reinforcing that throughout this whole thing. That's the only genre where they gonna come and they whispering in these kids' ears and they pushing them away from their friends. They getting everybody from around them that's gonna be able to tell them, "Hey, you need to keep your head on straight." I was listening to actually watching Drink Champs, and it was talking about what was the artist's name? Oh my God, I'm so horrible at this, man. But anyway, he was somebody who was dealing with Irv Gotti. And so he told a story of how he rocked with Irv and he was down with Irv, and he was definitely on a path to success in hip hop music. But then he began to speak about how they tried to separate him from the people who was there for him, people who let him sleep on their floor, on their couch whenever he didn't have anywhere to go, people who put food in his stomach when he didn't have the resources to go get nothing to eat. And Irv Gotti and the label was trying to get him to push those people away, step on those people, and come hang with this circle of rich and influential people. And the real nigga that he was wouldn't allow him to do that to those people who meant so much in his life. And that dude was in tears when he said that on Drink Champs. I mean, he was in real tears because that was some real shit that hurt him. And he saw how the industry will try to separate you, try to get the people from around you who really have your best interests at heart and who really love you, so they can be like, yeah, take this. Yeah, say that. Yeah, do this. They're going to fuel all of that bullshit that you want to do, because you're in that place of adolescence. You're in a transitional stage of your life that's very important, and everything that's imparted in you during that time frame is going to shape and mold your thoughts throughout the future. He said, yeah, rap is a young man's game, the only genre that does that. You know, they say it's a young man's game, but is it really? Because, you know, I ain't bragging or nothing like that. And when I say that I am music, I really mean that. And I can make a song right now off the top of my head. Matter of fact, a young dude just hit me before I started this episode and was like, "Hey, I got an idea and a concept for a song," and they'll run it by me because they know that my bars are certified. You know, I ain't no slack whenever I go in that booth. And I'm 45 right now, but that absolutely, if anything, my bars have become stronger and cleaner and more pristine, so to speak, over the years of mastering my craft. And so the industry have made it a young man's game. They absolutely have, only because they can control those young men. That's the only reason that the rap game is a young man's game. It has absolutely nothing to do with your energy, nor does it have anything to do with the quality of the product. What it has to do with is the level of control that those handlers can have over those young adolescent artists. That's all it is, man. That's all it is, bro. Yeah. Yeah, you talk about age whenever it come to hip hop and you say anything past 21, 22, I like 21 Savage. He don't want to change that 21 to any other number because anything above that, you consider the old head. He gonna be 21 Savage forever. But it's sad that you gotta be like that in the hip hop game, man. Come on. Come on. Hip hop was out the artists that we came up to, and I'm going back to the beginning days. This is back in the Sugar Hill Gang days. This is back in the Curtis Blow and Fat Boys and all of these cats. They were grown. They weren't kids. You know, they was young, 19, 20, so and so, but they conducted themselves as adults. They were speaking on adult topics. They were doing adult things. And so they carried themselves as adults. And it was known, it was made known. And that was one thing that they were highly respected for. Man, you really carry yourself like a mature person. That was something that was a badge of honor in hip hop, was being recognized for your maturity. But now it's the reverse of that. It's like you gotta you gotta act like a kid in order to get any type of notoriety in the hip hop in the rap genre. All of the OGs that we got, the highly respected dudes that put in all of this work, gotta go try to squeeze their ass in some skinny jeans. Did y'all see them Kevin Gates the other day, that little video they did about him, and he was walking around the stage, how damn tight those damn jeans was. They were so tight he couldn't pull them bitches all the way up past his damn thighs. That's the struggles that women have. We as men should not be in no damn dressing room somewhere having to try to damn wiggle into some damn jeans so that we can damn be relatable to the crowd. What the fuck is going on in hip hop? What the fuck is really going on in hip hop? It's a damn shame you got old girl over here sliding and wiggling into her jeans and her big ass nigga right beside her sliding and wiggling the same way in it. What the fuck? Now hold up. Cause I'm gonna have to damn I'm gonna have to take some fault in this. I wear like semi skinny jeans, like the slim fit slacks and jeans. Yeah, I've made those alterations because this is the style, but that shit ain't painted to my damn skin. Yeah, you right. You absolutely right. Lil Wayne, Young Jeezy, all them got names that represent youth. That's a great point. Thank you, Sacred Grove. That is a great point. All the Lils. Back in the day, it used to be everybody was big. Big Sean, Big Pun, Notorious B.I.G. Now everybody Lil something. Thank you for that point. That is a great point to make. That is a great point to be had. Also, one more thing that I want to point out as far as that goes in this contrast is the fact that back in the day, now this is nothing to brag about, but this is just what it was. Back in the day, our MCs bragged about being the drug dealer. Nowadays, the MCs are bragging about being a drug user. That's a major contrast. That's a major difference. One of the main things that Ice Cube and them said whenever they did Dope Man, you know, they was talking about don't get high off your own supply. You know, even though it was convoluted, they still had pride within what they was doing. It was a warped mindset, but still they had pride within what they did, and they had rules and structure in what they did, even if it was a criminal act. But nowadays, those cats, they praising being a drug addict. And now you're seeing a lot more opioid crisis that we're going through. Now you see uh, artists dying just senselessly because they OD. Rest in peace, Mac Miller. Juice World, that was an accidental overdose, but Saint nonetheless. Rest in peace, Juice World. Rest in peace. There's so many different ones that you can put out there. It's so many that's been on the verge of death. Lil Boosie on the verge of death because of drinking lean. So many others. Kevin Gates, he had to stop drinking too because he was on the verge of death from all of these different things. All of these different things. Blessings to you, Boshimi, experience. So, hip hop genre has been attacked on so many different planes. And if you read Professor Griff's book, The Covert Something for Black Music, I'm sorry if I got it wrong. No disrespect to you, Griff. But if you read that book, you will see that there was the same way that systems have been set in place in the United States to cause us to stumble or to make it a little bit harder for us to get somewhere as opposed to somebody else. The hip hop industry is the exact same way. The hip hop industry is the exact same way. There's strategic things that have been put in place to push a certain narrative and to keep a certain person out of it, because like I stated before, it's an adolescence game. They're catching these kids while they're transitioning from childhood to adulthood so that they can mold and shape the patterns of their behavior. All psychological. Dude, quit sending me messages in the middle of my daggone show. But okay. Um, yeah, you said back in the day we shunned using that stuff. We absolutely did. That was one of the and it's funny to me because this is something that people always throw up in Dr. Dre's face because on that song Express Yourself, he was like, I don't smoke weed or cess. But then come 2 3 years later, you turn around and you got the whole Chronic album. But that's neither here nor there, but that was the time that we was coming through it, and Dr. Dre recognized as a businessman marijuana whenever it hit and it started booming because you had Redman, who was an absolute spokesman for weed. You had Cypress Hill, who's absolute spokesman for weed. And weed started to become that thing. Dr. Dre, the businessman that he was like, man, I got to jump on this wave. And that's what he did because he saw that marijuana was the ticket. But not a couple years ago, he was saying, I forgot the verse how it go, but it's something with the less than a don't smoke weed or cess. Yeah, so, but that's the game. That's the hip hop industry. People are jumping through all of these different hoops to try to keep their level of importance and their level of influence really high so that they can remain to be an asset to the industry, because the industry is always going to feed those assets that has the most influence over the masses. And so I don't know, man, it's crazy to me that hip hop is the only genre like that and nobody is paying attention to it. Like nobody even see the great disparaging difference between all other genres and hip hop. Ain't nobody in country music killing each other. You don't see a lot of young country music artists. Tell me three country music artists that are under the age of 18. Most country music artists are going to be older men and women, always have been. Now lately I noticed there's a few younger country artists, but that's a adult dominated genre. Same thing with rock. You have the kids and the younger groups that are coming out, but they do not carry themselves like adolescents. They carry themselves like adults, and they promote adult content and adult mindsets and all of this. So why is hip hop encouraged to promote childlike behavior, neverland behavior? You stay in hip hop, you stay young forever. Why? That's the only question that I have. You said we don't have child R&B stars anymore. That's something that who was it? It was Diddy and Mary J. Blige was talking about this. They were saying that, you know, R&B is pretty much dead. R&B is pretty much dead because all of the true R&B artists have been pushed to the back burner, and every artist that comes out now, if it's a rapper, he's singing, or if it's an R&B artist, they're rapping. So there's no divide between the R&B artists and the rap artists anymore. They've come together and made some type of hybrid artist who sing and rap. Sway Lee, he's one who's really good at that. Young boy, all of these cats out here harmonizing, you know. So they've really taken the distinction away from R&B artists and rap artists. And then any artist who comes out that's R&B who has any type of extra type of swag or flavor, they'll throw them in the pop category. And so there's not really any R&B, no true R&B anymore. You said music is no longer organic or original. Samples carry the legacy of good music poorly. Damn, say that shit for the people in the back who didn't hear you. Please say that shit one more time for the people in the back who didn't hear you. That's it right there. Some of the best songs that I've ever created in my life happened organically. We didn't sit down and force nothing. We didn't sit down and nah, it was just we were sitting around. And rest in peace to he was my producer, he was my nephew. Most importantly, he was my friend. Simeon Shaw, one of the dopest producers. The last segment that I was talking about, and I was talking about people who were given a gift from God, and there's nothing on this earth as far as education that could add to or take away from it. He is a prime example of what I was talking about, because this dude never took no music classes, none of that. Don't know how to read music off of a sheet, none of that. But he will go in there and he will make top tier tracks. Top tier. I mean, like Scott Storch type tracks, Timbaland type tracks, Mike Will Made It type tracks, any type of track. And it was all organic. It was all fluid. It wasn't forced. He didn't come in and say, hey, man, check out this beat I got. He came in with his keyboard, his workstation, set it up, and then just start doodling with the keys. And he would find a tune or a harmony or sound that he liked, and he'll start running with that. And while he's running with that, I'm gonna start humming to it, and I'm gonna catch a cadence to go along with what he's doing that he's just continually rolling with. And then he'll loop that thing and keep it playing, and we'll just keep adding and taking away. And then next thing you know, it comes together, and it's one of the most beautiful slamming tracks you ever heard in your life. That is the fluidity that music, pure music, natural music comes from. That's the type of vibe that you set in your studio, so when an artist comes in, they don't feel forced and it don't feel corporate. Music is something that soothes the soul. It soothes the savage beast. It's something that's been used over time as a form of medicine to calm you down and to keep you chill. Music hits on every single chakra in the body. And so this is something that has been weaponized. I got to throw that in there because music has absolutely been weaponized. It's used to influence people to go out and do certain things. The devil made me do it, that whole concept. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Salute to you too as well. You know, yeah, that spirit is absolutely still here. That spirit is still here. It's still alive and well because, all right, from the spiritual standpoint, based on the biblical text, that, the main angel who was Lucifer, who then became Satan, that was his primary job, was to send the praises up to the Most High. And it came in the form of musical notes and just whatever you uttered from your body in appreciation. And so he's very interested and he's very invested in the music that we put forth. He's not so much interested in the message anymore because he understands that the frequency is what's going to tap into your chakra. That's what's going to tap into your inner core. That's what's going to stimulate you to do or say or feel a certain way, and you don't even know why. People who have a mind to read and to understand these things will know why. But your average person, your average child, your average adolescent is not going to understand why. And that's why it's very, very important that they keep hip hop a child thing, an adolescent thing, because they're not at a place of understanding to where they don't see the manipulation that's being blanketed over their entire life. They give them money. They give them all of the resources, anything that they like, whatever their drug of choice, alcohol, women, males, whatever they like, they give it to them so that they can give them that youthful energy and keep black people in a state of adolescence as far as your mind state. Like I was saying before I kind of went off into the tight pants rant, I was saying how our OG artists have to act like kids in order to still have some type of power, to still have some type of influence in the hip hop industry. And that's sad for all that they've given, for all that they've contributed to the culture. You mean to tell me that they got to dye their hair? They got to go get Beijing in their beards. They got to go do all of these different things to try to make themselves look like they ain't old, when we know these niggas old as dirt. Y'all niggas older than me. When I started loving hip hop, y'all niggas was old. Y'all niggas was 20 something. Nigga, I was 5, 6. So I know y'all niggas old. You can't play just because you got some Beijing in your shit. I know you old, nigga, because I'm old. So don't even play them games with me, but I understand what it is. I've been in the industry on the lower level, right there when you get your foot in the door and you start to really see what's in those rooms that Cat Williams was talking about. I was right there. And I had to do about face. Nah, that really ain't for me. We had our album, we had it pressed up, we had our own record label, we was doing our own thing because this was in 2099 going into 2000, and that was the whole time when Master P came out. So he gave us the blueprint of doing that whole independent label thing, and that's exactly what we did. Shout out to Uncontrollable Records, LLC. And so we had all our ducks in a row, all of that stuff, and we was making this big push through the Carolinas, and we had a following that was building up. Now this is before this was right in that 2000 to 2007 point, before Soldier Boy gave us the idea to put our music on the internet. Nobody had grasped that concept at that point, because remember, Soulja Boy didn't come out till like 2007, 2008. So really, the whole concept that we was pushing was that old school concept, and we was just pushing it hard as far as due diligence and follow up and doing all of these shows and stuff like that. So, we was young then. We were in our primes then, and that was definitely, we had the energy for it. But as things didn't start to go the way that a lot of people in the group thought that it was going to go, or how they wanted it to go, then they began to fall away. And those of us who had a love for music, we stuck with it. And I still do music to this day. I'll write a song today. I will go and record a song whenever I feel like it, just for the sake of, I love making dope music for me. And that's just where I'm at. So you have these OGs who still had a love for the music. I was watching a video the other day. I love Busta Rhymes because he's so animated whenever he's speaking. He speak like he's trying to audition for a movie scene. So there was this young cat that was with Styles P. The Styles P, I guess he bringing into the industry. And so he had to do the freestyle for Busta. And dude said a line that was so cold. Busta grabbed him by his arm and started shaking him, and you know how Busta do, man. It was just a beautiful thing to see how our OGs still get real excited when they hear those bars, you know what I'm saying, and just pushing the next generation of lyricists through. Because we're always gonna need a lyricist. We got the guys who got the fad songs, they got the fad raps, those things that are just gonna be here today and gone tomorrow. But we have those, just a handful of artists who are true lyricists, and they make timeless music. Kendrick Lamar is one that we speak of quite often, and we hold him in such high regard because Kendrick Lamar, he's thinking of timelessness whenever he's creating. He's not thinking of what are the kids in this generation going to like and what are they going to catch on to. He's like, is this going to be able to translate and resonate 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 30 years from now? And he puts that type of energy and spirit into his music, and is appreciated by true music heads, true lyricists, true people who love music. And so you say all music is not isolated to hip hop. Hip hop is rap now, which does not include the culture. Okay, I can concede to that point to a certain extent. Um, you say all music is not. Yeah, 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 absolutely. There's way more music than hip hop, especially we as black people ascribe to. I listen to other genres outside of hip hop on a regular. Um, but primarily, and just for the sake of this conversation, I like to keep the focus right there on hip hop, because, hip hop is the genre that's being attacked in this nature, and it's being shaped in this nature. And look, it's the only one. Nobody else is doing it. But you're right, though. I concede to that point. Absolutely. It does not feed our culture anymore. You have all of these different subgenres of rap now. You have the drill music. You have what's called acid rap. You have the lazy rap. You have the neo soul artist, the conscious artist. I guess that would be the same thing. But now you have hip hop has expanded to such a point to where it is now able to have subgenres within hip hop. And so, yeah, we do have different flavors. You don't have to listen to drill music, but drill music is what's being highlighted right now. And drill music is what the record labels are pushing everybody to be like. Whenever something hits and it catches fire and they want everybody to jump on that wave. That's how these music industry agents are. They're going to try to push you to be more like what's a female who's out right now who's really killing the game? I guess you could say Cardi B, for a lack of a better person to think of. I'm not talking about her character or her personality or anything. Well, no, I am talking about her personality, but what they'll do is, okay, they'll see how Cardi B took off, and now you want more girls to have those mannerisms of Cardi B. Not so much everything else, just the mannerisms, all of those things that make her endearing and make her relatable. You see people mimicking that. There used to be a time when originality and individuality was a badge of honor, but no longer. We're evolving into a new age of hip hop. So I just wanted to really touch on that a little bit and kind of go in depth on that whole concept, because rap music is the only genre where they have this never land mindset, and that's what they promote and they push. And you can't be over 25 in the rap game because you're too old for them to properly manipulate. So I know we have nephews and nieces, we have sons and daughters who aspire to be artists. And so if they do, one of the main points that you should drive home to them is staying true to who they are and not allowing this industry to destroy who they are in order to create a persona that is going to hurt our community and not help our community. This is what we need to preach to the next generation of hip hop artists coming up, because we got daughters that are in their rooms in the mirror holding a brush and spitting into the mic or singing into the mic, seeing how their faces are and how they can perform and stuff. We got nephews out here who in school not doing their work, not writing their math problems down because they writing some bars. So we got to make sure they know what they stepping into. That's something that I really do a lot of now with a lot of the young guys that I deal with on the music tip. I make sure that they are aware of the business side of it. I make sure that they know what an ASCAP is. I make sure they know what trademark is. I make sure they know how to count bars. I make sure that all of these things that the industry is not going to care about. They just care about your level of influence and power. So yeah, let's just feed into these kids. We cannot stop the world from putting out the information that the world chooses to set before our children. But what we can do is give them the proper information so that they won't be confused by what the world is trying to tell them. Nor will they compromise their beliefs, and they will have something to stand on when these things are brought into their face. So, yeah, I appreciate everybody for coming in this morning. Uh, Sacred Grove, great points. Bohemian Experience, great points. I definitely love that I'm being fed whenever I do these shows. That's what I do them for, and that's what excites me the most, is whenever I'm interacting with people and we just feeding each other and we just bouncing ideas off each other. This is the shit right here. This is what it's all about. Helping other people to grow, them helping you to grow, iron sharpening iron and all of that good stuff. So you said lyrically, no females. Cardi is a personality with cool tracks. Your opinion? Yeah, she is. But she also has a message that she has to push no matter what. She can be as endearing and she can be as cute and as cool as she want to, but she better not stray away from that agenda. She better not stray away from that topic. And that's all artists. Every artist is assigned some type of agenda that they have to promote. And if they fall outside of that and they fail to promote that agenda through their music and through their social media, they're gonna get put on the back burner. They're gonna lose that spot for somebody who's willing to sell out and do everything to lead our children astray. So we just have to watch out for that stuff and inform our kids of these things so that they're not so heavily influenced by a music artist, so that they won't go out and quit their jobs because Beyonce said go quit your job. That type of influence, that type of power, that is not good. Whenever a child believes or listens to somebody who's in a position to where they don't need to work, and they're telling this person to go quit your job because this ain't your best life, and they actually go out and do it, yeah, somebody did not tell that person that, hey, this is not reality over here, this is just entertainment. Somebody wasn't there to drive that point home to them. So we got to do that. That's all I'm saying. uh Much love to y'all. Thank you for all of the conversation and the great points. This is your boy D Mac. Y'all know what I say, man. Sticks and stones can break your bones, but the word can always heal you. I'm out. I'm out.